How can we actually get fewer abortions in the United States of America? The topic of abortion is, of course, politically and socially divisive, and many Americans have very strongly held views, often aligned with one political platform or the other. However, what is often missing from the discussions, both on the Republican side and on the Democratic side, is this fundamental question: how could we actually get fewer abortions in America? The Republicans have had a long-held view that abortion should be illegal, except for certain kinds of restrictions, and there may be varying views about what kinds of allowances for abortion there should be: harm to the mother, rape, incest, things like that. But putting aside those internal debates within the Republican platform, the plan has been to appoint conservative justices who will dismantle Roe v. Wade at the federal level and support any efforts to legislate abortion restriction at the state level. And that plan succeeded with the dismantling of Roe v. Wade in 2022 and continues to advance mainly in conservative states. What Republicans often don't look at, and it's hard to face and admit, is that after Roe v. Wade was dismantled in 2022, 2023 saw 1,037,000 abortions performed in the United States of America. It was the highest level of abortions in the history of the country. And 2024 is poised to be even higher still. So while the Republicans have succeeded in dismantling, the federal legal precedent that, barred states from prohibiting abortion, they did not succeed in reducing the number of abortions in the United States. And this often happens. Just because something becomes illegal does not mean that it becomes less common. We experimented in America 100 years ago with Prohibition, make alcohol illegal. And whatever immediate, small declines in alcohol consumption there were eclipsed by continuing usage of alcohol and then all of the other attendant problems that happened during Prohibition, and eventually they threw in the towel and made alcohol legal. So making abortion illegal does not reduce the number of abortions. It just changes where and how people go about it. Since that political platform has not delivered the result, fewer abortions, then we have to look at other things that might actually do that if that is the goal. And herein lies one of the great ironies. There are many reasons why many people get abortions. One of the reasons that some people get abortions is that they feel like they are not financially secure and could not support a child and maybe have healthcare coverage concerns and other things that make them worried about bringing a child into the world and raising it themselves. Picking legal adoption is not as palatable of an idea to some of these people because there's still a financial burden to bringing the child into the world and preparing for the adoption, even though some adoption agencies are offering coverage of some of those costs. And so for that percentage of the population who gets abortions, the things that mitigate their choice to get an abortion are actually the things that would support the prospective mother financially, including generous maternity leave, generous paternity leave, daycare support, so that if somebody is career oriented and wants to keep their job, that they will be able to return to work with a guarantee of job back and be able to afford childcare. Childcare for one child in America is easily $30,000 in this country, which means that if you are in the workforce, you would have to be making much more than $30,000 for it to be a reasonable decision to continue working. So, childcare, daycare support, universal pre-K and kindergarten. Many states do not even fund pre-K or meaningful, childcare support and things like that. And it is ironic that the Democratic Party platform is the party that tends to be more favorably disposed towards funding a strong social safety net, including child care support. If somebody becomes economically disadvantaged and needs food assistance or other things, that they tend to support that. The Republicans tend to attack those things as socialist policies and programs and have consistently sought to erode and undermine any kind of financial safety net for prospective mothers or anybody else. And as a result, it's actually more of the policies that you would find in the Democratic Party platform that will provide the kind of supports that would encourage this segment of those who decide to get abortions to actually bring their child into the world. And I find it strange that oftentimes folks in the Democratic Party focus on the other side of the equation, which is, well, healthcare decisions should be made by the mom and her doctor. And that includes decisions about abortions. And those points are well taken. But I do think that it would be helpful for the Democratic Party platform to be voiced around these other things in order to speak to this issue, because I think that too would actually contribute to getting fewer abortions in America. And I think it would pay political dividends for the Democrats, for those who feel, as voters, uncomfortable with controlling women's bodies, but still don't feel comfortable with so many abortions being performed in America. So I do think the Democrats have an answer that they don't speak to well enough. And I do think that the Republicans are ignoring the political actions that would actually deliver on the self-stated goal of fewer abortions in America. Thank you.